Welcome, everybody, to this year RIOT Summit. Before we start with the keynote, I briefly want to recap what happened during the last year and what will happen today and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. But before that, maybe a brief introduction about RIOT. For those of you who are new and didn't attend the tutorial this morning, RIOT is a friendly operating system for the Internet of Things, particularly for the constrained Internet of Things for devices that have very low hardware resources. At the end, it's something like the Linux for the IoT. And this fun project started in 2013 when we launched and published RIOT as an open source project. And since then, it developed quite successfully. We regularly publish releases quarterly since then. And in addition to 2 years of successful RIOT community building and 49 releases, we have also RIOT Summits. And the RIOT Summit is a yearly get-together of the RIOT community because we think it's important also to meet and to talk face-to-face. And this started in 2016 in Berlin. And then we stayed for one additional year in Berlin. Then we met in Amsterdam, Helsinki, unfortunately 2 virtual meetings because of Corona, then in Hamburg, Frankfurt, and Vienna last year, and this year in Dresden. So welcome to Dresden and to the TIGO Dresden. Since the last summit, we published 4 releases. 714 pull requests have been merged. Thanks to all of you who contributed to this. And special thanks to the release manager, Teufelchen, Nikolai, Ben Pico, and Kevin. And if you want to have your name presented here next year, so you should volunteer as a release manager. Don't worry, I mean, compared to the very first years, it is now much better and well organized. A lot of stuff is implemented automatically. So the burden is quite low, and all of the prior release managers are happy to help you. So you should consider this if you are a maintainer. What happened more specifically, a lot of new boards are now supported. Most recently, the new Raspberry Pi Pico, these initial support is there. Network-wise, I think one of the key improvements is that we do not have only a design, but also implementation ready for a unified co-op network stack, which hopefully makes things easier. In the future, unfortunately, not all building blocks are merged, but we started with this. So, and there are still open pairs for this part, so feel free to review. Hardware and software are important, but community contributions are also important. Since the last summit, we now have guidelines for the RIOT software itself. And we have a much more clearly documented how the governance of the RIOT community works. Regarding this year's summit, we have 2 days of presentations and interactive breakout sessions. So we started today with a hands-on tutorial. Thanks to those who organized this. We will have a keynote briefly after this recap, and then we have 2 plenary sessions. Speakers who are willing to share the insights. Tomorrow we have the General Assembly meeting in the morning, and then we have breakout sessions which are more or less influent depending on your input, so you can decide which topics should be discussed in smaller groups. And then we have 2 additional plenary sessions and finally an open mic. But the RIOT Summit doesn't end there. There's Friday, and Friday is dedicated to coding. Depending on your topic, the hackathon will take place on Friday. Everything will take place in this room, breakout sessions and hackathons here, as well as in the seminar room. So, but everything on this ground floor. And after a lot of discussions in this nice building, we also want to engage a little bit more sportive. We have a social event will take place at the City Beach in Dresden where we will serve food and drinks. So thanks to our sponsors for this, but we have also the chance to play a little bit of volleyball. You can arrive on your own, but we will also leave here together. So if you want to have a shared public ride, just wait until the end of the day. Yeah, all of this is not possible without sponsors, supporters. So thanks in particular to Huawei, who generously funded this event. And most importantly, thanks to you for joining and coming, and hopefully make this a really great event. Thanks. And with this, I hand over to Thomas.